What's going on, beautiful people? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all, it's time for us to have an important conversation around boxing once again. It is being reported, it's breaking news, it's been reported from Tom Brown of Tom Brown Promotions that is linked to the premier boxing champions, the PBC. It's being reported from Tom Brown that the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo Alvarez, widely recognized as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, turned down an offer for $55 million to face the unified welterweight champion of the world, Errol the Truth Spence Jr., right? And Canelo Alvarez turned down a whopping $55 million. So a lot of people are like, damn, that was a big deal. Some people wondering, why would Canelo turn that down? I mean, it's a big money type of deal, so on and so forth. Why would he turn that down? And I'm assuming Canelo Alvarez feels like he got bigger fish to fry than Errol Spence Jr., right? Now, from the other end of it, a lot of people would be wondering, why is the PBC offering Canelo Alvarez this type of deal when negotiations with Terence Crawford have not really began, or what we know, haven't? Why haven't they offered some type of offer to Terence Crawford instead of Canelo Alvarez, right? And the answer to this, I believe, is this, right? It's not going to be the answer that a lot of people are looking for. I don't think it's because the PBC is afraid that Errol Spence Jr. is going to lose. I believe it's because that the PBC, the premier boxing champions, is having financial woes at the moment. I believe they are having severe financial woes, to the point that their best plan to recover from that is Errol Spence Jr. versus Canelo Alvarez, right? One might ask, don't you think Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. would generate some mega revenue to help them replenish, or so on and so forth? And the answer to that is yes, they would garner a lot of money, but I don't think it would garner the same type of money as Canelo Alvarez versus Errol Spence Jr. Why? Canelo Alvarez has the Mexican fan base behind him in lockstep. They're with him every step of the way. Every time he fights, they gonna tune in no matter what, no matter who he is fighting. And if he fights a guy that many people regard as the best welterweight champion of the world, a guy that many people see walks around at 170, 175 on average, they're gonna be like, you know what? That's a real good challenge. That's a good matchup. We still gonna watch it, even though a lot of people feel like Canelo would wash or knock Errol Spence Jr. out. It would still be an intriguing matchup because of the fighting styles of the individuals, right? And they know that the Mexican fan base is gonna support that fight heavily to bring in that bread, that revenue that is missing now that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is now, he's a retired fighter, a retired professional fighter. Floyd is not fighting competitively anymore. He's fighting exhibition fights, but he's not fighting against no top opponents, or he's not fighting no Keith Thurman, Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford anymore. So he's not generating revenue for the PBC. They're trying to figure out a way to replenish the money that they lost since Floyd Mayweather has retired. The best plan for that is Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez. Clear as day. I know everybody, if people would think it's a one-sided massacre, they're still going to buy that fight because the intrigue for it is just there supremely. They would watch it. And again, people won't look like, why? I mean, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford would generate the same revenue, and it wouldn't. They don't think it would, at least. And I think it's because the PBC does not have faith in the black fight fans' dollar. They don't. And for me personally, I can understand that if you want to try to replenish on the I want the fight with Terence Crawford to be made. Before any other fight. I don't want to see Errol and Canelo before I see Errol and Terence Crawford. I want that fight started immediately. I'm an Errol Spence Jr. fan. It's a 50-50 fight. I'm going with EJ, but I respect and admire the fighting skills of both of those men, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, right? So I want to see that fight first. But I understand that if they coming from that point where they don't have faith in the black fight fans' dollar, then I understand that. Reason being this. I'm an avid fight fan. I've been watching boxing since I was yay high, a little kid. Like watching the fight sitting with my uncles on my uncle's lap. When they was watching Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis in the 90s, right? I was there watching it with them. Watching James Toney get down and all that. Roy Jones Jr. I am unlike a lot of people my age. I can never talk boxing, hardly ever talk boxing with people my age. When I'm talking boxing, it's always older gentlemen. People my age range are watching football and basketball. They're not watching baseball or none of that. You even got people my age in my demographic watching UFC more than they watch boxing. If you ask I'm in Chicago, Illinois, right? If you go into the ghettos and the hoods of every place in Chicago, Illinois, and ask them, tell them to name you a current black fighter, they gonna tell you Floyd Mayweather because they think Floyd Mayweather is still fighting. That's how out of touch my generation is with boxing. And that is probably the only boxer they're gonna name. Maybe Gervonta Davis. And the only reason they would know Tank is because Tank is this knockout artist that's just plastered all over social media, right? He's known for dating Ari, G Herbo's, baby mama, and Moneybag Yo's current girlfriend. He's known for that. He's been all across the tabloids and the media and like that. But those are the only two fighters they're going to be able to name. In the hood, if you are the casual boxing fan in the hood does not know who Errol Spence Jr. is. They don't know who Terrence Bud Crawford is. They don't. And I know it sounds crazy. Us fight fans know it, but they don't know that. They don't know who he is. My mama don't know who Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford was, but she can damn sure tell you who Floyd Mayweather Jr. is, right? There is no the interest in fighting. When I'm getting ready for a fight, I'm anticipating it and I'm excited. I'm posting up the pre-fight stuff. There is no one hardly in my age range that is excited as me that I know personally. There's no one in my age range that I know I went to school with, that I have communication with, that is as excited as me when I'm getting ready to watch these fights. They not tuning in. They don't know who the welterweight champion of the world is. They can tell you who the champion is at 135. They cannot do it, right? Now, I would say this too. When you ask them who a current boxer is, they'll tell you Deontay Wilder. They'll say that too. They'll tell you Deontay Wilder because of the fights with Tyson Fury, when he knocked out Ortiz and all of that. He was in Dominic Brazil. He was gaining steam in America to where people were trying to get back interested in America and watching heavyweight boxing. But outside of Tank, Floyd, Deontay Wilder, people don't really know. Black people don't really know any black fighters. They don't know any fighters, period. Like that. They don't. And if you think I'm lying, then I'm flying. Go into the hoods of America and ask. I'm not talking about the boxing scenes. I know black folks in the boxing scene know, but they don't know. So I say that to say Al Heyman and them know, let's put it like this. Pugilistic boxing fans are going to buy it. Everybody that's into boxing is going to buy that fight, right? But the difference is, when Floyd Mayweather fought, you had people that didn't even give a damn about boxing, didn't give a fuck about boxing. They're just going to watch it because it's an event and everybody has to tune in. Because Floyd Mayweather was just that type of draw from his bravado, his personality, the charisma outside of the ring, the throwing money everywhere, the flashiness, the flamboyance and all of that, right? Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford are not those individuals. Canelo Alvarez isn't. But again, his community is in lockstep with him to where no matter what he's doing, they know they're going to watch him fight. They're going to follow him. They're going to pay for his fights. They're going to root him on and cheer for him. They don't got to be into boxing. They just know him. Our community does not know Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. the way me and maybe you watching this video know them. So Al Heyman and them are cognizant of that. They're like, man, it's going to be a great fight. It's going to do some numbers, but it ain't going to do the same numbers as Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez because people are going to come and support Canelo, especially when they hear he's fighting a guy that, walks around at 175, Errol Spence Jr., a talented fighter like that. Even though they feel like he's going to slaughter Errol Spence Jr., they're still going to be intrigued by that matchup. They're going to want to see it. They're going to pile in droves because there are Hispanic fans that are fans of Errol Spence Jr., but they're not the same amount as Canelo Alvarez, so it's going to be an intrigue there to where it's going to be more revenue for the PBC to cash in on with him fighting Canelo Alvarez than Terrence Bud Crawford. And I believe the PBC is having financial woes because anytime you got Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin on some goddamn pay-per-view, that shit is horrible. Because I'm not, again, and Luis Ortiz cold-cocked Charles Martin, had him looking into the crowd, talking into the audience and shit, had him walking around looking, he goddamn lost where he was at. He was sleepwalking out there. That was a cool moment and a highlight. It wasn't cool for Charles Martin, but it was a highlight moment for boxing or whatever. But nobody wants to pay for that. Did nobody want to pay to watch Andy Ruiz against Chris Arreola on pay-per-view? Hell no. Nobody trying to pay for that. The pay-per-views that they have, they've had some great pay-per-views, some really, really good ones for sure. Errol Spence Jr., Dennis Ugas good. They had some really good ones. But A lot of times they having some terrible pay-per-view events, and it's like that lets me know that they're in a spot where they're struggling financially, and they're trying to alleviate themselves from their financial woes. Because every fight is goddamn pay-per-view. Like, no, it can't be that. Those, like, Luis Ortiz and Charles Martin is not no damn pay-per-view fight. Chris Arreola and Andy Ruiz is not no pay-per-view. It's not a pay-per-view fight at all. But that lets me know that they're having some problems. And then you got Floyd Mayweather Jr. saying, hey, PBC owe me some money still. They owe me some bread that I helped to deliver over there. They got to pay me. You heard some grievances from Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his camp or whatever. So that lets me know they're having financial woes. And their best plan to alleviate themselves from that is as Canelo Alvarez and Errol Spence Jr. Not Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford. But I don't believe that offer was that offers haven't been made or haven't been discussed with Terrence Bud Crawford as of now because let me say that a different way. I believe that the offers were made to Canelo Alvarez first. Saul Canelo Alvarez not because Errol Spence Jr. they're afraid that Errol Spence Jr. is gonna lose. It's because they need that revenue push. They need that bread back on their side. And they know that Errol Spence Jr. versus Canelo Alvarez would do just that. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.